talking about the new movie, Slenderman.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alright, well, I don't know about you guys, but back in the day, Slenderman was a really big deal.
He was a huge fucking deal.
Yeah, I was scared to even look at pictures of him on Twitter or Instagram because, you know, they said once you see him, like
He's
you
gonna
get
keep you
yours.
think about him all the time. Even people would draw him all the time, and that shit was weird.
Yeah.
Everybody drew Slenderman. I don't really know why.
Well, in the movie, everyone who drew him
Was
died.
it?
So,
But there's always a bunch of Slenderman art on Tumblr and Twitter, and
Alright,
it was
so
everywhere.
back when I was in middle school, there was this app, and it was the Slenderman app or whatever, and you would walk around the forest and you'd have to find his notes. I don't know why, but you needed the notes.
You really
ate notes.
But you
Yeah.
wanted to find the notes, but you didn't want to find Slenderman. You
Yeah.
were looking for the notes.
So it must have been just I don't know if it was just here in Ohio or if it was everywhere, but it was everybody was playing this game. And so when I was at my friend's house one night, we were let's make our own real life Slenderman game.
I was there for that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I was there for that.
And we we picked one person be Slenderman, and she wrote notes and hid them around, and you had to find all the notes without seeing her in the house.
That
And,
we were
shut
some
off all
weird,
the lights.
some weird kids.
It was really weird.
That's kind of fucked.
messed up.
But that's the shit we were into. It was intriguing but really scary.
Because everyone loved Slenderman, but no one
Everyone
no
was
one wanted.
afraid.
No one wanted to love Slenderman, but we did.
I
We were under his spell.
There was a part of everyone who kind of thought he was real though.
Yeah.
We all
like,
did.
I was oh, this is a video game, but there low-key might be a Slenderman in my woods.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
all the folk tales and shit.
And we would all be oh yeah, this is so stupid. Who would actually believe in Slenderman? But we all did.
We all had nightmares.
All of
about
us were
it.
so fucking
You can't
scared of
deny it.
Slenderman.
Everybody was afraid of it.
But it was a very generational thing because we teach at our dance studio, and we are a little bit closer with a few of the kids who are 12 and 13, and we've asked them, and none of them have any idea who the fuck Slenderman is.
Just our
And Tracy
generation.
doesn't.
Tracy
yeah,
doesn't.
Our parents don't. It's
I mean,
weird.
yeah, but it's very if you were born from 1997 to 2000, you know who Slenderman was.
So when Izzy was a little younger than us, when we when I first
And
started
these
hearing
bitches
about
were
it.
always scaring me. They took any opportunity that they could to freak me the fuck out,
So-
and they would take it.
We told her about
And they would
it.
run with it.
And she used to get so scared over it. She stopped doing chores in my house. She was afraid to go anywhere in the house by herself, and it was starting to really piss me off.
I was 11.
All right. So I had to lie to her. I was listen, Slenderman only lives in Hawaii.
She told me that.
She
She told me that if he touched water, he would die. So he couldn't leave Hawaii.
I was yeah, he can't get to you. Don't worry about it, bro. And she was oh, really? That makes me feel so much better.
It did. I mean, I wasn't
it
afraid of him after
Cured her
that.
fear of Slenderman, and then he started to die off. You know.
Nobody cared about Slenderman.
Yeah, I don't know why they brought up this movie. I don't know why this movie premiered now.
Yeah.
Because no one really talks about him anymore.
I mean, they're
No.
gonna talk about him again after that.
I mean,
That was a good movie.
The
We'll get to
documentary
that.
about the real Slenderman case, where those two girls
Yeah.
tried to kill their friend for Slenderman. I think that came out a while ago too. That came out around the right time.
But that was. I feel I heard about that
Yet
more
here
than
we are.
I watched it. I watched half-assed watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, but it was a real thing. It was right around the time of the game, and there was a documentary about the kids, and it was a real fear, and then it just stopped. No more Slenderman.
Because I mean, that one girl tried to kill someone, so it had to stop acting.
They said Slenderman told him to.
Yeah.
They wanted to go live with him in his mansion
Yeah.
in the woods.
Really fucked.
I mean, but I think one of the most things that's that's fucked up about Slenderman is when you would read all the stories on Tumblr and Twitter, it would say that he comforted kids and disturbed them, and they would depend on the kid. It was all kind of weird because you would read stories about kids that were really really shitty situations, and they would try to summon Slenderman to get him to take them away, really
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
shit like that.
Okay, so we went and saw this movie. Spoiler alerts, if you plan on seeing the movie, we're gonna give it all away. So
We're gonna give it all.
So in this movie, there's these teenagers, and they're
stupid but so real because there's people in real life that are
Because,
like, yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna
Don't you
Slenderman.
remember being like 14 and having nothing better to do and being like Googling how to use a Luigi board?
Or Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, Bloody
Yeah.
Mary, like trying to figure out all that
Very
shit. So, like,
cliche.
it's very cliche, but like you remember
It was-
doing that shit, right?
It was accurate. And
Yeah, it made it like more real, I
Yeah.
guess.
And so they like watched this video, and it's like you do 3 bells, keep your mind open, keep your eyes shut.
I didn't know about the 3 bells.
I didn't know about the bells.
No, I didn't hear about the bells. It was always
I
like
think they
the
added that.
static. That you like heard the static, and then once the static shut off, he was there. You know.
Yeah.
I remember that being a thing, but I never heard about the bells. And they watched this video, and like they're all super freaked out, but nothing's happening yet. And then like they're having like the one girl's having dreams, but that's like it. And then their one friend like disappears. And
Yeah, they
it's,
go on
like,
a field trip to a graveyard and she just is staring in the woods.
staring, like, of course they go on a field trip to the woods, and it's right by the woods.
I wish they would
Field
have
trip to
like,
a graveyard.
I wish they would have showed that disappearance a little bit more. 'Cause
Yeah.
They just showed her looking at something, like it was obvious what had happened, but we didn't see her like go anywhere.
I mean, I also read that they had to cut out some scenes from the movie
Oh.
because it was like too scary or
Yeah,
something.
when they cut out a bunch of the scenes, I felt like it left a lot of plot holes. So
But we need to finish talking about that. So the plot was like, basically there was just these 4 girls and like they had tried to summon Slenderman and like kind of fucked all of them up, and like the one girl like disappeared and the other girl like stayed in her room for
like,
forever.
crazy.
yeah, the
She went
concept of the movie was that if you saw Slenderman's face, you'd either go insane, you'd either die, or you would be like,
You disappear,
yeah, you would just disappear.
and you like be his or whatever.
Yeah.
And so these 4 girls end up like one of their friends disappears, and they like are trying to like make a deal with Slenderman to get her back, and it really just like screws them over, and they all die. Well, you don't know that they die, but they like all disappear.
You know, I also wish they would have more elaborated on Katie's obsession with occult, because like that just kind of came
Yeah.
out of nowhere,
It
and
did.
no one else in the movie that was like obsessing with Slenderman was kind of into that. You know what I mean? Like that was kind
It
of
was kind of out of nowhere.
I mean, the movie was overall like a good movie. It was a good scare. It was
just
very
so
scary.
many plot
But yeah, they
holes.
left. There was a lot to be like.
And I understand they had
They
to
left
take
a
a lot out, but I wish they
They
would
would've-
have substituted it,
Yeah,
or
so-
taken more out.
The thing with Katie though is like you could tell that she kind of wanted to go with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie's home life was like kind of shitty. Her dad was an alcoholic, and she like always talked about running away. So that's like one of those cases where the kid is kind of comforted by this idea of going away from their family and be comforted by Slenderman, which was kind of like back in the day. And then the other people were like afraid of him. But they like the second girl that like went crazy or anything. Like she went crazy, and then like that was it. Like they didn't elaborate on it anymore. I mean, if you watch the trailer, the one girl there in like science class, and she like takes the scalpel and like stabs her eye, and there's blood everywhere. It's all real strange. But that wasn't in the movie at all. And I don't know if they took it out to like make it not so scary. I don't know.
I think they had
wasn't
to cut out some of the more morbid scenes. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think it was like not PG.
So
and
that-
they wanted it to be
Yeah, I
PG.
think they wanted to keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
And then there was a boy that the one girl was like interested in, and he watches the video, and he comes into science class with like a bruise on his arm.
But that's all you
And
get.
that's all you hear about it.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what ends up happening to him. You don't know how he got the bruises. They don't elaborate on it at
And
all.
He has a romantic interest in one of the 4 girls that's involved in the Slenderman thing, and like all they do is make out the one time, and that's it. There's no follow up.
Yeah.
There's no like he comes and tries to save her, or like you learn about his arm later and he like ends up hating her or something.
I
Like
don't
they
know.
just don't follow through with
I
that.
think that the movie would have been super, super great if they didn't have to cut things out. Like they would. I
Yeah.
wish they would have
Yeah.
like made an unedited version like this
Yeah.
version.
Maybe they
They
will.
probably will for the DVD.
I hope so.
They usually release the
They
unedited.
probably didn't want it to be so cliche, but that's the thing about Slenderman. Like we were saying, like it's so cliche, but it's
It is all
something we
really
grew
cliche.
up with. So it would have been cool to like have a more elaborated
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like perspective on it.
Because like there was like a lot of like the little things that we remembered from when we were younger, like all the drawings of him and like you said earlier, the static realistic and like.
Yeah, and in the movie they included those real life videos.
Yeah, they
of
had like
Slenderman
videos
that
of,
real
like,
people have put out on the internet. Excuse that.
They also don't really talk about like what Slenderman is.
Yeah, they didn't go into like the backstory at all in the movie. So like if you didn't grow up on Slenderman,
You wouldn't have known.
you wouldn't have known like the
Yeah.
whole idea behind
No
him.
face.
He would no
Long
face,
leg,
long
face, long
leg.
leg.
Okay, some
That's
legs.
the only context you get.
So like overall, I think it was a good movie if like you wanted to go to see a new horror movie and like you're like, oh, this Slenderman movie looks pretty cool.
But like, I would say if you like grew up like learning about Slenderman, like hearing all those stories from your friends, definitely go see this movie.
And if
Because
you,
it freaked me out.
if you
It was
don't
scary.
like gore, you're good.
Yeah,
There's
no
no
gore.
anything.
It was
all.
very tense. Like there was
Yeah.
the whole movie.
It kept you.
It's
on
got a
your
lot of
toes.
jump scares.
A lot of jump
A lot of
scares.
jump scares, and like the animation of Slenderman, it's like crappy for a movie, but it looks just like the video game
Yeah,
animation,
it does.
which I mean did something for me. Like I was
It
still
made it
just
real.
as scared, even though it looked fake.
Yeah,
and
it like
fun.
it reminded me of like when
Yeah.
we used to play that.
It was like the same quality
game.
of that
Mhm.
app.
Yeah.
Alright, well, so that movie is good. I say you go see it. What do we give it out of 10?
I give it like a 7 out of 10.
I give it like an 8 or 9.
I don't
thought it
know.
was pretty
I'd
good.
say 6.5.
Really, really.
Yeah.
Meg. Well, Meg
I
kept,
didn't like the story
Meg
that
kept,
much.
kept cracking jokes.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I would be sitting there with my hands covering my eyes, and she'd be like,
I think
"No
that's Meg's
face, long
coping.
leg guy." Like, wow, look at this clown. Like, I
He
could not.
was a clown. No face, long
I
leg.
think that it was super cliche and like super pop out scary kind of thing. And I think it's probably gonna bring back a few nightmares, you know.
Yeah.
So I give it like a 7 or an 8,
It was-
a 7.5.
It was good
maybe.
for what it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it could have been better. There could have been a lot more things done with it, but
Mhm.
like
They did a
for
good
a
job.
Slenderman movie,
Yeah, I
not bad.
didn't really have high hopes for it, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good.
They did pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, since we're all feeling spooky this fine evening, we're gonna tell you some other spooky stories.
Yeah, let's talk some like
Let's talk a
paranormal
little bit
stuff.
about.
Alright.
We should like go around and tell a ghost story like one of us has experienced individually.
Alright, now you're first.
I'm first.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm talking like out of this group of friends here, when I went to DC for my 8th grade field trip, we were in Arlington, and my friend's grandpa was buried there. So
Mhm.
the group of girls me and her were staying with in our
Mhm.
hotel room, we were allowed to go with her to go see the grave separate from our class group, you
Right.
know. And so one of the teachers took us and we found the grave and we like paid our respects and we were walking back and just goofing around and like my friend Abby like pushed me or something and I like turned around and I saw like a shadowy figure by one of the trees and it
Mhm.
looked like it was like misty and I could see like the outline of like a hat, like a uniform hat on
Yeah.
the head. And I like turn around, I'm like, guys, like look, I'm seeing a ghost and then he was gone. He screwed me on that. But
Damn.
he was there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't scared. I was very like, whoa, that's a ghost. Like I'm seeing it. Like this is an experience, and I don't know. I'm like open to that.
So, do
stuff.
you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I believe in
Really? What about you two?
I think I believe that like we're always surrounded by our loved ones. Like,
Right.
I believe that we're never really alone.
Oh shit.
You
damn it.
know.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, I never expect to see anything because I have gone like in when my grandparents moved to their condo in Twinsburg, I like would get that ghost tracking app and it would like take me down the hall and I'd be like, oh, there's the ghost. But I like never saw anything. That was my only like seeing experience. But in the studio, in the old studio
Well,
with Ron,
let's give some
dude.
context. So we used to dance at this studio that was located in a basement. And our dance teacher was named Lorraine, and it was her house. It was in the basement of her house, and that's where we all kind of met. But we don't dance there anymore. We dance at a studio that we kind of own. So that's the context for the story.
So Lorraine had this brother named Rob, and he died. I'm not sure when. I think they were younger.
I think he died in a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she would always like we had this really old stereo, and like whenever it would skip or like it would not turn on, she'd be like, oh, Rob, back at it playing
Very
tricks on me.
nonchalant.
Yeah. And like we would say it all the time, like it just became like a normal
joke.
thing. Like
Like,
oh,
it's-
if something was wrong, like oh Rob.
It was
like,
Rob,
geez,
Rob
It was
did
always
it.
Rob.
No, but I was in Studio B, and I was doing my homework because there was a class in A, and it was me and I think Allie Alexander. Do you guys remember her?
Yeah.
Her and I were doing homework in Studio B, and out of nowhere, we weren't even doing anything. We were just minding our own business, doing our homework. A pen flies from like where the stereo was in there across the room towards us, and we looked at each other and we ran on into Studio A. We're like, Rob, Rob,
I
it's
think
Rob.
during dance camp one year, there was like this. It was a huge box of markers, and it was just sitting on a chair.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the whole box of markers just like flew off the chair and fell onto the ground.
And like stores like that, like with the pen store and the box of markers, like those became stories that we like would pass down like to our classes.
Yeah.
Like, if you went to that studio, like we would tell you that story. Like,
Yeah.
we would always be talking
Tall
about that.
tale
And,
of Rob
Rob,
and the
Rob the
markers.
ghost. Like
and like it was really creepy if you were down.
Please? Okay. Context. My dad's a firefighter here in Ohio, and he's a direct responder, so he responds directly from here, thus he has to hear the radios here.
All
And
the
I-
time.
I've grown up with it, and you guys have been over enough that
Yeah.
you're used to it, but like when I have new people over, they always get really spooked by
I
the
still
radios.
jump. Like I know what it is, but I'm always like, oh,
Like it happens when you're sleeping.
it does
Yeah.
happen. And we'll wake us up and we'll be like, ah.
There
Mike.
it goes, Mike.
Alright.
Rob?
We
We
were
were
Rob. Yeah, that Rob.
Like one year, the last year that we were at that studio, Lorraine, the last week of dance camp, Lorraine would always let us have a sleepover at the last day. And I'm not sure if Megan and Mallory were there for this.
Meg was there.
Meg was there. I don't think you were.
I don't think
That was
Alice.
the year I didn't.
Yeah.
And so the Thursday night of dance camp, because we went Monday through Friday, so Thursday night we would sleep there, and Lorraine would like go upstairs, and we'd all sleep in the mats on the basement, and all of us.
Sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
And I think I looked at one of my friends at the time, Grace, and I said, "Let's make a Luigi board." And like
totally
Which is a
goofing
Ouija
off.
like totally
A
Ouija board, but we'd always like call it a Luigi board. I think there was a reason.
YGI board.
A YGI
It was a
board.
meme. It was a joke.
It was a big joke. But anyways, so we were like looking up like where the fuck can we like get a Ouija board? Like we wanted to buy a real one, couldn't find one, so we got out some cardboard and markers, and so we were all drawing on this fucking Ouija board, like writing the letters. And we had finally done it, and it was beautiful, and it had like stars and like
the
the moon and
or
sun and
whatever.
everything on it. And then my friend Maddie, she looks at it and she goes, "Needs an extra touch," and she takes it. And no one knows what she's writing on it, and she sets it back down, and at the bottom, the little option, and it reads, 4 titties. And I'm like,
Like it's a complete joke.
like it's a complete joke. And we like had a planchette and everything, and like it was all made out of cardboard and marker, and like
It was all crooked. It wasn't even a
the
square. It
4
was like,
titties option, like
DIY
Maddie's like, if we
Ouija
really
board.
want to like get a ghost, like 4 titties, like if he goes on that option, like we'll show him some titties. And I was like, all right, like whatever, Maddie.
Oh my god.
But yeah, we were 15 at the
I'm
time.
glad I wasn't there.
But so yeah, we waited until it was really late at night, and we had 2 studios. One big one, Studio A, which is the one we were sleeping in, and then Studio B. It always flooded because it was in the basement, and like
Was it?
anyway, it's a whole another story.
It flooded every other year.
It flooded every other day. But anyway, so we all went into Studio B with our Luigi board. Fucked
Except me and Meg.
except for her and our other friend Meg.
There's a lot of Megs.
A lot of Megs.
A lot of Megs in this dance studio. We fucked around with it for like 20 minutes. Nothing happened.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. It was in the complete dark. But you can finish because it's your.
And then we decided to go to bed, and me and Meg were sleeping by the door for Studio B, and we were like, we're closing that door 'cause that's creepy.
It always gave us like these vibes. Like
You
it
didn't
was
want to
always
be
like
alone in
you
Studio
didn't
B.
want to be alone in Studio B.
Even outside of that night, like you just
Yeah,
You never
like,
wanted to be alone
when
in
it was like
Studio
the
B.
last class of the night, Lorraine would always be like, "All right, shut the lights off," and you like flipped them off really quick and shut the door and ran out of there.
Yeah.
And, like it was you
It freaked
didn't
us
want
all
to be
out.
alone in there.
especially in that little room that
Oh my God,
makeshift
I
like,
could not
hangout
be-
area
yeah.
she made for us.
I hated that.
That was so creepy.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So we closed the door before we went to sleep, and then we woke up
they
in the
like,
morning.
but the thing is, they made a big point
Yeah.
of closing this door and like putting something in front of it to like make sure that it stayed
It
shut.
really freaked us out.
They made a really big point of it. They were like, nothing's getting us.
Nothing's coming through.
But anyways, Lorraine came down the next morning to wake us all up,
And the door was open.
wide open.
wide open. We were all like, "Rob did it.
we kept telling Lorraine, we were like, Lorraine, like Rob was here, and she was like, you guys are stupid, like, go to the bar, we're warming up.
She never believed about it.
No, she never did.
She would kid about it, but when it would actually happen,
she'd be like, I bet.
Pick up those markers.
Pick up those markers.
But yeah, we don't know if it was like actually Rob or like what was going on, but that it was always something that like we grew up with, like Rob in the studio.
Rob the ghost in the studio.
I mean, for one of my birthdays one year, my Uncle Lou, he's a little out there. He got me one of those pink Ouija boards that like came in like the clear briefcase.
You know, Toys R Us used to sell Ouija boards.
Yeah.
They still do, but they're closed down.
Why they were
That's
manufactured.
kind of fucked.
but
That was weird. Yeah.
It was one of those pink ones, and it came with like question cards. And I remember my mom and I did it a few times, and we would always like surround ourselves in the white circle of God, so that way the demons couldn't come. But obviously, like nothing would happen.
Yeah.
So we would just. It kind of got brushed to the side, like we were done with it. And I remember I put it behind my couch because like for some reason I just knew it was there. And like a few months later, I want to say I went to like go get it out so I could like go give it to someone or sell it or something.
Right.
It was not there. And like, you know us, we don't look clean like behind the couch. So
Like no one would have taken that.
And I didn't blatantly say, hey guys, I'm putting the Ouija board behind the couch. It's not like they like knew that's where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know where it went. It's been gone ever
That's
since.
why
Horrifying.
Ouija board. Alright.
I mean, which is fine with me. Like, I don't like those, but still, I had nothing to do with like where it went.
And like, our dad never let us play with Ouija boards. Like, anytime we would even say it jokingly, like he would get serious and he would be mad and he would say like, girls, like you're not allowed to play with that shit.
Yeah, he'd like make them promise that
He
they're
would
not
make us
playing
promise.
with one.
What?
So, we'll get to it later.
Okay.
My dad is like, he really
Maddie, your
believes
phone shut off.
in spirits.
It shut off. It like went black for a sec.
Did it pause? I can't see.
I think
Is it still recording?
I don't know.
Go check. Isabel. Alright, hold on. Technical difficulties.
No, it's not recording.
Did you run out of space?
Quadcast number 2.
Oh my god.
We've been recording for 20 minutes, guys.
That's good. Good. We're gonna have to cut this out. If we can
Or
cut
just
it
have to
out.
like put a picture on the video and be like, hey, pretend it's us.
Yeah, for real. Alright, well, can I keep telling the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so Kevin like
Wait,
really
it's not recording.
it's okay. This is still
Oh, do
recording.
we need that?
We'll like put a picture or something over the video.
Yeah.
Cut us some slack. It's our second podcast.
So he like really believes in spirits. He's like always watching like Paranormal Survivor and shit like that. He reads all these ghost books.
Yeah, and your mom gives him so much shit for like believing.
Yeah,
She's
but
like,
he-
it's fake.
But he really believes in it, and he like we're always like, no, they're not real, Kevin. Like you're making it up. He's like, they're real, and we're all like, oh, if they're so real, then like why don't we like try to contact him with a Ouija board? He's like, oh hell no, don't mess with those. And I guess one day we were like, why are you like so afraid of Ouija boards? And he was like, well, when I was little, me and my friends were goofing around with one.
Well, let's also preface this with our dad was kind of like he was a shit kid. Like he was always like messing around and like sneaking out and smoking cigarettes and motorcycling.
I
and we're,
totally see Kev doing
Our dad
that.
was a shit kid, so
Yeah.
let's start that off with this.
And then him and his friends were goofing around with the Ouija board, and one of the guys like was like, this really isn't real, like this is fake, like I'm heading home. And he got on his motorcycle, and on the way home he crashed it and he died. Like no joke.
Dude,
He died.
that's scary.
I don't know his name or anything, but like he's dead now. And
R.I.P.
that was a spooky story, so I guess that's why he takes Ouija boards really seriously.
And he would always get, like, when he found the Ouija board, when we were clearing out the studio, we found our cardboard Ouija board, and he took it and he, like, broke it in half. And I was like, no, like, that has so many memories. And he was like, this isn't funny, it's not a joke. Like, he gets so serious about it. Like, the board had a 4 titties option on it. Like, it was a joke. But yeah,
I guess
so-
there's one more story. I don't even know if this counts as a story. I was really little. I wasn't really little. I was like 11. And my family, we took a trip to Mansfield.
The
prison.
place?
The
Yeah.
reformatory.
The old Mansfield prison in Ohio. And it was on a day that like they were closed, of course, just our luck. So we didn't get to go into like the jail or like any part of the prison, but we went into like the like the lobby, and there was some lady that, because she let us into the lobby, she was like, well, I can't take you on a tour or anything, but like I can give you these pamphlets, you can take some pictures. It was a beautiful building, and I like had my own flip phone out, 11 years old, rocking a flip phone, and I was taking pictures because I thought it was really pretty, and they're like, and we leave, nothing happens, and I'm looking at my pictures on the way home, and it was a picture of the outside of the building, and it was like, I think 2 or 3 floors up of like the windows, and I swear to God, there was like a shadow, like a white-ish shadow in one of the windows, in like one of the pictures. It was like, it wasn't in it, and then in the next picture it was, and then the next picture it was gone. And I don't know if that counts as something, but like, I showed Teresa, she was like, it's just like a blur, you're just moving, it's a shitty camera.
Because your mom, like, refuses to, like, take anyone seriously about that.
Yeah.
She really does.
Remember when we were in Lancaster and we went to that like haunted restaurant?
Oh yeah, like the old
And Teresa kept
train.
saying like, "Oh, this is fake. There's no spirits here."
Yeah, but it felt eerie to me.
Yeah.
It was spooky.
It also felt spooky because that whole trip we were in the absolute Twilight Zone.
Lancaster, PA is not real.
Yeah, Lancaster, PA, I'm fairly sure they made it up for the weekend that we were there, and then it was terminated. Because we'll get to that trip in another podcast, but that was an absolute
We should just have a whole
shitstorm.
podcast about the Lancaster
Lancaster,
trip.
PA.
Yeah.
Right.
It was wild.
Dude, I think what makes me so mad about Teresa is that she, like, doesn't validate our own stories. Like, when you and I saw that UFO,
Oh my
Emily
God.
and I
You guys are idiots. You
saw,
did not see a
yes,
UFO.
We saw
you're
UFO.
Teresa now.
Oh my god.
We did. We were on our way home from Spirit, and we were on, Spirit was the, it was our old competition cheerleading team place people.
Yeah.
Good times. We'll talk about that trauma later. Anyways, we're on our way home, and like, we're tired as it is, and we're just going over this hilly road, and we get to the top of the hill on one of like the hillies on. Hillies. I'm really bad at explaining this. We get to the top of one of the hills, and there are 2 red lights and 1 green light in a triangle formation right above my car, and we start screaming,
Oh
and
my
I start
God.
speeding, and like, we're going so fast over these hills, like we're catching air, because I'm like not messing around with this. We almost got abducted.
These two tell this story to anyone that will listen.
No,
This is
and we-
absolute-
Fucking real.
And
It
we-
was like foggy.
Yes, it was foggy, and then you know what? We get to your house, and we're screaming. We're like, we saw a UFO, we saw a UFO, and Teresa's like, stop.
And Kevin's like, I'll believe it. You're right.
She's like, you did not. And we're like, well, explain.
And nobody believes us, but
And-
I swear.
But if you know, if she saw one, she'd be like, "Guys, I saw you."
Oh my God, she
Yeah, she would.
she would be all over it.
And then I had to drive home after, and like the drive from like here to your house and vice versa is the scariest drive at night.
It
it's
is
so
so scary.
spooky.
Why?
It's like
There's
spooky.
like nothing.
we live in the middle of
I'm
nowhere.
always
Well, we
scared
do, because we
some-
both live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm always scared some like crazy person's gonna jump out of the woods onto the road like that when we saw that
Yeah.
guy. Like, I'm always afraid something weird's gonna happen, and since it's in the middle of nowhere, yeah, no one's gonna find me if I'm
Yeah.
dead or
Right,
taken or if I crash.
Well, that's all we really have on spooky stories.
Yeah.
If you guys want to
Comment
tell,
below and
yeah,
tell us
comment
some
below about-
spooky stories of your own.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
want to
get
hear
in
your
those
stories.
comments.
Get down in our comments, like, subscribe, the whole shebang.
Yep, give us some suggestions. We're
Yeah.
open for anything.
We'll do literally whatever you say.
Yeah. So, give us a comment, give us a like,
Subscribe,
subscribe,
bitch.
and we'll see you next Monday.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Good
Bye.
morning.
Good morning.